Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Write With Me by ESL Fluency. In this episode, we are going to write a sample for a line graph designed for IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. In this video, we are going to analyze the graph and write a full report. The first step here should be fully understanding the graph before you start. As you're going to see, there are little things that you might miss if you rush it. So let's read the information and start analyzing it. The line graph shows TV news viewing figures over a 1-year period. Some test takers might say this shows 4 channels and their broadcasting time. But that's inaccurate information. The title says all these time slots belong to channel 1, which is the name of the channel, and it shows the changes that happened to the viewership each month over a period of 1 year. The unit of measurement is in millions of viewers per day, so be careful. These aren't the actual numbers. You need to add the word million in front of them when you are referring to them. Now, let's take a look at the lines and categories. On your test day, you will be given a piece of paper to take notes on so that you can write down the main features briefly to avoid missing any while drafting. We have 4 categories, 4 time slots. The yellow one, by the way, I'm using their color for the sake of this video for you guys. You should use their actual names when writing. I'm going to do that when I start writing later on too. Alright, the yellow one was almost always at the top, even though it went into a downward fluctuation. Fluctuation means going up and down in an unpredictable way several times. And since the overall trend headed downward, you can use downward fluctuation here. The blue line, on the other hand, had the opposite trend. It was the least viewed time almost all the year without any significant changes. Yes, I can use this contrasting point. Let's take a look at the other two. The numbers for the red one increased steadily until here, and then drops to about 1 million in August. If you pay attention, a new broadcasting time was introduced at 11 p.m. on May the 1st, as it is written here, and gained quick popularity and reached the top in August. At the same time, the red one saw a drop in its viewership and reached the lowest point in the same month. When the green one started losing its viewers, the red one started gaining more. So, we can say that these two lines are in an inverse correlation. It means one goes up, the other goes down. So yes, I need to compare these two together as it's one of the requirements of the task. Compare when needed. In the academic module, task 1 is all about comparison. Alright, now that I fully understand everything and I have identified all the main trends, it's time for me to write. But how can I organize all these points? There is no fixed structure for task 1, but I always recommend a 4-paragraph structure to my students for high clarity and easier organization. Let's go through the first paragraph, which is called an introduction. In the introduction, we need to tell the examiner what we are looking at. What kind of chart or diagram is this? What are the categories? What is the unit of measurement? We do not introduce any trends or numbers at this point. More and more once again. You can do this by paraphrasing this statement that comes before the chart and then adding the missing ones like the unit of measurement and the names or number of the categories. Here we go. The line graph compares the viewership of Channel 1 news broadcast at 4 different time slots throughout a year. All right, and the unit of measurement, the units are measured in millions of viewers per day. That's it. That's our introduction. Remember, do not repeat the statement here. You need to paraphrase it and write it in your own words. The next step is our overview. This is where you need to summarize the entire chart by briefly explaining the main trends and features. For Band 7 and higher task achievement, you need to include all the main trends. This is why spending a few minutes at first to analyze and write down the main trends is important. This overview is the most important section of the report. Even if you write a perfect introduction and body paragraphs, without a clear overview, your task achievement won't get higher than a 5. Usually, 2 or 3 sentences will do the job. Do not include any details. It's a brief summary of the chart or diagram. Here it is. Overall, for the majority of the period, view counts were the highest for the 6 p.m. broadcast, and comparing with the lowest but most stable for the 1 p.m. All right. There was also a seasonal change, Okay, I'm talking about the red one and green one here. As you can see, the first change, the red one dropping and the green one rising, happened in late spring and during the summer, pretty much during the summer. So I'm going to talk about that. Seasonal change, mainly in summer, with viewership trending later in the day, because the green one was later at night. So later in the day with the introduction of the 11 p.m. time slot. And okay, I'm talking about the second rise for the red one and 9:30 p.m. watching dropping temporarily. Alright, okay, so we can say that it temporarily dropped. It means later on it just recovered to some extent or something. Alright, as you can see, this is pretty much everything we talked about when we were analyzing the graph. There is no specific number, just a summary of the important things that happened. And it also talks about the entire graph, not just the highest and lowest numbers. Now we have 2 more paragraphs to write. I cannot talk about everything in one body paragraph. This will just create a huge one with everything packed together, which is bad for cohesion and coherence. So let me divide the data into 2 groups and focus on specific things at a time. In my body paragraph, I'm going to talk about the yellow and blue ones first. So here it is. Regarding the broadcasts at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. Okay, now the reader knows I'm going to talk about these 2 only. The former, the first of the 2. The former had consistent viewership at a little over a million. However, the 6 p.m. slot began the period at just under 5 million, and then went into a period of downward fluctuation until, okay, there isn't any significant change in the middle until that's just okay. That's just settling. Yes, we need that. Settling at just, because the trends go down and stay at a lower level at the end, so we need so we can use the word settle here. Settling at just over 3 million in December. All right. Yes, that's our 2 lines. Okay, that's it. But remember, unlike the overview, in our body paragraphs, We need to support our explanation with figures from the chart. Otherwise, your task achievement is going to take a huge hit. Now we do the same thing for the remaining 2 lines. That's it. As for the remaining time slots, there were, all right, nearly 3 million people watching the news at 9:30 p.m. when in January. The initial numbers are important. I would just mention them, which increased gradually. Yes, we need to talk about the degree of the change also. Gradually to just under 4 million. Okay, pay attention. I'm always clear about the unit of measurement. 4 million in May. All right, we reached May. Over the subsequent, or over the following, okay, over the subsequent 3 months, yeah, the numbers dropped. Okay, some students just say dropped significantly, but that's just redundant. Drop means to go down fast, quickly, or something like that. So you don't need the word or adverb drastically here. So dropped is enough here. Dropped to a low of, all right, the lowest point, the low of about 1 million. All right, before recovering. Okay, as you can see, until September it recovers fast. After that it becomes more gradual. So recovering to 2.5 million in September. And then, okay, rising more gradually, more steadily, more gradually, okay. More gradually, finishing, okay. Finishing at, yeah, we can say 3 million. It's exactly 3 million there. At 3 million by the end of the year. All right, by the end of the period, by the end of the year. All right, finally we need to compare it with the green one. Finally, on May the 1st, okay, we need to include this because as you can see, it's written here, it's part of the information, so it's a good idea to mention this. Okay, it's not May the 10th, it's not early May, it's not somewhere in May, it's exactly on May the 1st. So on May the 1st, okay, the TV station, okay, yes, same. The TV station added a 4th time slot for 11 p.m. Okay. And then what happened? And okay, whose figures skyrocketed. Whose figures skyrocketed to peak. Okay, this is an important word here. You need to mention this because that point is the peak. To a peak, skyrocketed to a peak of 4 million in August. All right, you can just say becoming the most popular at that month, in that month, or or after which they experienced a degree of change, steep. Okay, let's go with a steep decline. Yes, steep decline to nearly a million. All right, it's a little under that, so we can't just say a million. I need an adverb here. And nearly a million in December. That's it. All right. That's the whole report. Analyze, identify the main features, divide the info into 4 paragraphs, and make comparison whenever needed. All right, the word count, let me. The word count is 240, which is a nice word count if you are aiming for a high band score. Well, the minimum recommended number is 150. There is no maximum for word count, but it is recommended to keep it between 150 and 250 for task 1 because you can't write more than that within just about 20 minutes. You need to have time to review, correct your typos, make some small changes when you miss something. So always keep it between these 2 figures. All right, that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching. Okay, here is the full report. I'm going to write more samples in the future, so make sure to subscribe to never miss a video. If you need resources to help you fully prepare for this module, you can sign up for our writing course, and if you want to familiarize yourself with the common vocabulary items for task 1, take a look at our ebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find all their links in the description area. See you in the next one.